If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so you can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many, many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm today to get started. Hello, self-developers, and welcome to the Patrick Kelly Podcast for Self-Development, where I will be reviewing audible books on self-development that can change your life for the better this year and years to come. It is said that if we keep on doing what we always did, we will keep on getting what we always got. In other words, to change our output, we first have to change our input. Today is November 6, 2022, and this is episode 45 of season 2. And today we'll be reviewing the audible book High Performance Habits: How Extraordinary People Become That Way by Brendon Burchard. This audible book will reveal the most effective habits for reaching long-term success. Adopt these 6 habits and you win. Neglect them and life is a never-ending struggle. Excellence is an art won by training and habituation. We do not act rightly because we have virtue or excellence, but we rather have those because we have acted rightly. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. Aristotle. This book is about how people become extraordinary and why others block themselves from that possibility. It will show clearly and unmistakably why some excel, others fail, and far too many never even try.
Habit 1.
Seek clarity. If you don't have clarity of ideas, you're just communicating sheer sound. Yo-yo ma. This chapter is about finding clarity in your life. It is about how you think about tomorrow and what you do to stay connected with what matters today. The essential habit of seeking clarity helps high performers keep engaged, growing, and fulfilled over the long haul. Our research shows that compared with their peers, high performers have more clarity on who they are, what they want, how to get it, and what they find meaningful and fulfilling. We found that if you can increase someone's clarity, you up their overall high performance score. Whether you have a high degree of clarity in life or not, don't fret because you can learn to develop it. Clarity is not a personality trait that some are blessed to have and others are not. Just as a power plant doesn't have energy, it transforms energy. You don't have any specific reality. You generate your own reality. In this same line of thinking, you don't have clarity, you generate it. So don't hope for a flash of inspiration to reveal what you want next. You generate clarity by asking questions, researching, trying new things, soaring through life's opportunities, and sniffing out what's right for you. It's not though you walk outside one day and the piano of purpose falls on your head and all things become clear. Clarity is the child of careful thought and mindful experimentation. It comes from asking yourself questions continually and further refining your perspective on life.
Habit 2.
Generate energy. The world belongs to the energetic. Ralph Waldo Emerson. As you might expect, it takes a lot of energy to succeed over the long haul. High performers have the magical trifecta of capital E, energy, that holistic kind that includes positive and enduring mental, physical, and emotional vibrancy. It's the key force that helps them perform better in many areas of their life. It's why high performers have so much more passion, stamina, and motivation. If you can tap into the capital E energy stored within, the world is yours. In our high performance research, We measure energy by asking people to rate themselves on a scale of 1 through 5 on statements such as, I have the mental stamina to be present and focused throughout the day. I have the physical energy I need to achieve my goals every day. In general, I feel cheerful and optimistic. We also reverse score with statements like, my mind feels slow and foggy. I am physically exhausted too often. I feel a lot of negative energy and emotions. You'll notice that energy isn't just physical, which is how most people conceive of it. Mental alertness matters too, so does positive emotion. In fact, all three have been correlated with high performance. When I use the word energy in this book, then keep it in mind means the full spectrum of mental, emotional, and physical vibrancy. The headline from our research on this topic may seem obvious to you. Low energy correlates with lower overall high performance scores.
Habit 3.
Raised necessity. Only one who devotes himself to a cause with his whole strength and soul can be a true master. For this reason, mastery demands all of a person. Albert Einstein. Necessity is the emotional drive that makes great performance a must instead of a preference. Unlike weaker desires that make you want to do something, necessity demands that you take action. When you feel necessity, you don't sit around wishing or hoping. You get things done because you have to. There's not much choice. Your heart and soul and the needs of the moment are telling you to act. It just feels right to do something, and if you didn't do it, you'd feel bad about yourself. You'd feel as though you weren't living up to your standards, meeting your obligations, or fulfilling your duties or your destiny. Necessity inspires a higher sense of motivation than usual because personal identity is engaged, creating a sense of urgency to act.
Habit 4.
Increase productivity. Don't think about making art, just get it done. Let everyone else decide if it's good or bad, whether they love it or hate it. While they are deciding, make even more art. Andy Warhol. High performers have a very deliberate approach in planning their days, projects, and tasks compared to underperformers. Like most productive people, high performers score well on statements such as, I'm good at setting priorities and working on what's important, and I stay focused and avoid distractions and temptations. The stronger the agreement with such statements, the greater the overall high performance score. The difference is that when they compare themselves to their peers, high performers are more productive and yet also happier, less stressed, and more rewarded over the long term.
Habit 5.
Develop influence. We're not who we say we are. We're not who we want to be. We are the sum of the influence and impact that we have in our lives on others. Carl Sagan. Most of the higher high performance habits are under direct personal control. You choose to seek clarity. The level of energy you feel is largely under your command. How prolific you are with productive output is up to you. But what about influence? To keep a broad perspective on this topic, at least for the next several pages, let's define having influence as the ability to shape other people's beliefs and behaviors as you desire. It means you can get people to believe in you or your ideas, buy from you, follow you, or take actions that you request of them. Of course, influence is a two-way street, but more and more, researchers are coming to understand just how much control you have over others' perceptions of you and ultimately how much influence you have with them. It turns out that no matter your personality, you can develop more influence in the world than you probably imagined. Closing thoughts. On a scale of 1 to 5, I would give this audible book a super duper 5 for teaching how to develop the most effective habits for reaching long-term success. To find out more about this audible book, go to www.audible.com and download this audible book, or go to www.brendon.com to find out more information and other books written by the author. Remember to subscribe to this podcast on your favorite podcast platform so you do not miss an episode. And also remember to please share this episode via text or email with friends and family and other people that you care about. Follow me on Twitter at Kelly Podcast or Instagram at PatrickKelly_podcast. For more episodes of the Patrick Kelly Podcast for self-development, go to www.thepatrickkellypodcast.com. If you'd like to donate $1 or more to the support of this podcast, click the donate button at www.thepatrickkellypodcast.com or go to $Patrick Kelly Podcast on Cash App, and I'll be sure to thank you on the next episode. This is the end of this podcast for today. Tune in next week Sunday for the next episode and the next Audible book of over 300 books that I'll be reviewing on the Patrick Kelly Podcast for self-development. If you enjoyed this podcast, take a moment to rate and review on Apple Podcasts. This really helps me out. Feel free to share this podcast with someone you care about. And remember, your life does not get better by chance, it gets better by change. Take care.